What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Game On Improve Your Health podcast. Today's episode journey is being guided by none other than your host, Austin J, or hallucinodream, if you know him from the gaming community. And today's topic is on the importance of health. Thank you for tuning in and listening, and enjoy this episode. Blah, 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 blah. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. I'm aware that last week we didn't do the fun-filled episode. Got a little busy and completely forgot that it was a fifth week, of course. So yeah, here we are. I want to talk today about the importance of health in general, kind of what it means, why it's important, and why I think health is the number one asset that anybody can carry. I believe we talked about some of this in the past. In some past episodes, we touched on it, and maybe even have done a whole episode on it. You can go back and listen. I'm interested to see the difference, of takes here and anything else that I, add in. But I think it's very important to understand the aspect of health, or why it's important, and it could provide new outlooks for people to help guide their journey or, push them forward. So before we get into this, one of the aspects of health that I find incredibly important, I think, is I will always tell people, I think this is one of the most important things you can do, is blood panels. This is going to tie into what we're talking about. I get a blood panel, and I have a discount code through Inside Tracker. Now, you don't have to use that. You can use your doctor, who might not be giving you the Inside Tracker gives a lot of information that doctors won't give you unless there's a reason for them to draw that blood. So that's why I really like Inside Tracker. And then it's all my information, basically, so I can look at it, go through it. But Inside Tracker gives me, I do the best test they get, so I can understand absolutely everything that's going on in my body. It gives me that rundown of everything, personalizations on how I can fix some of the ones, some of the biomarkers that are maybe a little funky or out of sync. And I enjoy knowing what's going on inside my body. I can feel great, and I have in the past, feel great, and in my mind, and this has happened before my first blood panel, in my mind I was telling myself, I feel great, I'm very energetic, I'm healthy, I work out, I run, I do everything I need to do, my blood panel is going to come back great. And there were things that were on there, like high cholesterol, that, I didn't really think was going to be there just because of how I felt. So understanding, and that could have a negative impact. If I just let that go and never really saw that I have that, and that's just one example, I never really saw that I had high cholesterol, I might not try to, do anything to change the cholesterol because I feel good. I didn't, why would I think something's wrong? And I think that's incredibly important. Now, I do have a 25% off code. All of this information, the link and all, is in the description as well. The code is AustinPro25. That's AustinPro25. That'll give you 25% off the whole store. And you can look through the store, see what suits you best. But and again, there's no obligation to use them. If you have other blood panels that you can find or use, or somebody else has referenced to you, but you were on the fence and just heard me confirm and say how important it is, go with it. Anywhere you can get information on what's going on inside your body, I completely, I can't even stress enough how important I believe that is for everybody. So I want to talk about, that's going to tie into overall health and why I think health is the most important asset that you can have. Let's say you are working however much, a full-time job, then you're starting to really, let's say you generally feel good, right? You feel good. You're generally healthy, don't have health issues and this and that. This is just an example, of course. And let's say you get promoted. Now you have to bump up your hours. Because of that, now you're working, 60 hours a week instead of the 45 you were working before, 60, 65 hours. That's cutting into your fitness time, let's say. And eventually it starts cutting into you get busier and busier. You're making more money. Um, you're working more. You're enjoying the work more. But it is stressful, and maybe it's cutting into your nutrition. Now you don't have as much time to cook at night, and your meal prepping fall off. And now you start to feel the effects. You're starting to feel tired, grogginess. Let's say that brings you to a point where you start getting sick often. You really never have gotten sick before this, but now you start getting sick. Um, and it's related to the added stress, the change in activity, and the change in nutrition, all of which have maybe gone downhill. This is strictly a theoretical situation. I'm using the situation to basically kick off the importance of health. But so let's say you're feeling sick all the time, and then you can't really figure out why. So you go to the doctors, and it's hard for them to tell too, right? If nobody knows what's going on, it's trial and error. You could spend a lot of time and a lot of money at the doctors, trying to figure out what could possibly be going on, and it could just be related to the lack of activity, the lack of good nutrition, and just the overall stress from working that many hours, and stress of the possible job, and then the stress of not having that physical activity, right? I am not downplaying the importance of work or money, not downplaying that whatsoever. I think that's also incredibly important, and I'm not downplaying to work overtime. I think working, or not even overtime, it's overtime, but working full time, working 50, 60 hours, that's great. I did it for many, many years. I had 3 jobs at once. I don't even think I went home during those. I just slept wherever my last job ended, which was never, because 3 jobs, basically. Anyways, I very much enjoyed it. I think it's great, not downplaying that whatsoever. But the health is very important, the health aspect. So what that story, why I wanted to use that story is, you could be making, let's say you're making all this money, you're making 6 figures now, you never made 6 figures, and but you're under this load of stress, and now it's affecting your cognition and your sleep patterns and your nutrition, your exercise, and it's making you feel groggy all the time. You're feeling tired. You're maybe losing some muscle mass. You're starting to get inflamed. That's not something you'll be able to see, but you will be able to feel that when your gut gets inflamed, because one of the telltale signs is irritation for most people. You get very irritable. When I eat some bad food, I do get irritable, and I have been off of my nutrition game for the past month or so, and I can tell you that I feel more on edge than I have in a long time, and I'm aware of where it's coming from. But so the trade-off for, and the job is just an example. This can happen anywhere in life, any situation basically. But the job trade-off for the health, kind of going downhill, might not really be worth it. Might not really be worth it if you're not focusing on your health as well. So that's why I personally think, and this is a personal opinion, but I do believe it fully, that your health, and there's a lot of people that I've talked to that do believe it as well, or can basically think the same way, or did not in the past, but are starting to realize that might be the actual belief there, or the actual deal is that your health is your most important asset. And it's because if you get to a point where you're unable to work, you won't be able to make money, right? You probably won't be able to, let's say that aside, let's say you're only working, but you're just not in enough good health or have enough energy to do anything fun anymore. Go out with your friends, hang out with your family, go out to dinners. If you have kids, take your kids out to even just the park. If you don't have the energy to do that, because your health is declining. I don't know how I just got completely distracted. It sounded like somebody honked a horn inside the building. Anyways, Um, yeah, I mean, if that's why health is important, because you won't be able to do all those things, right? You won't be able to go on a vacation and enjoy it, especially if you don't feel good, right? Especially if your health is not doing well. That's why I always tell people, and I'm telling all of you who are listening, that your health is incredibly important. I think it's very, very important to see what's going on inside your body. The blood panel is just the first step. There's a lot of other things I am going to start doing to see more in depth on what's going on, including my gut microbiome to prevent inflammation and some other stuff. But that's not 100% necessary. You can do baby steps, just talk to your doctor, but work on your health, right? Make sure if you're working 70 hours a week, make sure you're focusing a little bit at least on health and wellness, so that you don't feel, bad, and that the decline in health, if it happens, I'm not saying this happens to everybody, but if it were to happen, that the decline in health doesn't affect your life negatively in regards to family, friends, your enjoyment, your fun, finances, and everything of the sort. I'm going to cut the episode there. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Sorry, I can see my daughter about to jump off the bed. She just she's in her own bed now, so she's a toddler. We'll say she's stuck in the blankets. I'm gonna have to go save her. So cut it short. Thank you for tuning in and listening. If you are watching on YouTube, all the links are over here on the left-hand side. They're also in the description. If you're listening on the podcast platform, all of the links are in the description as well. My name is Austin J, or hallucinodream. I hope to see everybody next week in the follow-up question and answer. Again, if you have any questions, send them in, and we would love to, or comments, or any insight on the topic. We'd love to talk about them next week in the follow-up and question and answer. So thank you again for listening, and have a great week.